So wait a minute. Your username is literally Stranger Danger.
Hey everyone, Stranger here. First and foremost, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope everybody was safe and happy and spent good time with family and friends, or if you had to work, well, I hope you survived your work shift. With that said, we're going to do something we haven't done in a little while here. We're going to do a little talking head piece with, well, no talking head. If you got 5 or 10 minutes, grab a cup of coffee or your favorite drink and let's talk about one of the most popular topics in Star Citizen, piracy and griefing. Now, as I'm drinking my coffee and browsing Reddit, I come across a post that is talking about piracy and pretty much how it's intended by CIG. This is no mystery, as CIG has said before that piracy is an intended game loop and is there for players to do. But as always, the comments in the post divulge to automatically relating piracy to murder, hobo, and griefing. Now, I'll admit there is some truth to this. There are a lot of people that go out there and play the game and call themselves quote-unquote pirates just to hide the fact that they're really out there just to kill everything that moves. This is no mystery and this does happen. But reality is that it's pretty easy to spot when somebody's not a pirate and they're just there to kill you. See, the issue at hand here is how people just automatically lump all pirates and PvPers and griefers into one big camp. See, the common issue at hand is that people make the argument that in order for you to be a pirate or be doing piracy, there has to be some kind of net gain. And it's true, there does. But what's often overlooked is that things as simple as the kit that you're wearing or the salvage to your ship is net gain. If you have cargo on board, well then that's even more. And really that's what we're after, but we'll literally take everything. Now, there are some smaller and larger pirate groups that go out there and do things, and all of them have their limitations. For us in Chaos Squad, we have a pretty well fleshed out group of guys that go out there and do piracy and a pretty decent sized guys that do logistical stuff for us. When we bring down a Reclaimer or C2 or Carrack, we'll recover the cargo that we can from it, fill up our ships to sell the cargo. We'll take whatever kits and gear you guys had on board, and normally we'll have somebody available with a Reclaimer to come munch it and make an extra million credits if we can. But it also goes almost without fail that every time that we get a piracy hit, automatically in global, we're being referred to as griefers. Now, to let everybody who does the industrial sloop that does get pirated in on a little secret here, we don't care what the hell you call us. We really don't. You don't have to agree with piracy or that game loop at all to be a victim to it. It's an unfortunate instance, and honestly, I can sympathize when you've been out there for a few hours trying to make some money and all of a sudden it goes away in what seems like an instant. But it's the inherent danger of being in an open world where people are free to make whatever decisions they want. Now, the common argument is that piracy and even PvP has no risk associated to it. That's not entirely true. Go to any comm array right now and try to hack it. You'll see that you will more than likely run into one where the crypto key won't insert into the slot. You know where else that's another prevalent issue? At SPK. So there is a risk. Getting a crime stat where bounty hunters can chase you and not being able to shut down comms to be able to circumvent some of it makes things a little harder. We've had countless hits where we are running a small crew and one of the guys that has to be there for Overwatch does have a crime stat. And unfortunately, it will bring bounty hunters and you got to do things to get away from it. There is also the issues in Klesher where sometimes the terminals don't work to sell the minerals, sometimes the escape route is blocked, or if you do successfully escape out to the Ursas, they're either under the ground or not there. Now, these are really not game-breaking bugs. Yeah, you could just wait out your sentence or go out there and in-cap NPCs and players and take their minerals in unmonitored space and be out in a matter of 20-30 minutes. But to say that there is no risk associated with it, well, yeah, I mean, we're not risking our cargo, we're taking your cargo. And while we're on the topic of risk over here too, it often comes up where people just, as we said before, lump in pirates and griefers in one category. Now I have a probably different outlook on people like GrieferNet and other orgs that go out there and do this quote-unquote griefing. I actually believe that these organizations and groups need to exist. Now, before anybody says anything, no, I'm not a member of GrieferNet. I never have been a member, but I do know many members and I've encountered even more of them in the PU. I know that GrieferNet and other griefer style organizations or groups do have a checkered history. Some players do maybe go outside the confines of what should be acceptable gameplay and stuff like that, but we're not here to talk about that or justify it. If those issues occurred or are occurring, well, that's really for CIG to handle and investigate. That's not my place to really comment or throw any allegations out there because, quite honestly, I have no proof. But because a group organizes 20 or 30 people and they take over a server and do a quote-unquote community watch event with them and other orgs, there's nothing wrong with that. That's gameplay. Now, I can tell you how on our end, we don't like those events simply because when you have 20 or 30 people out there killing everything that moves, it tends to scare the people we're after away. But we just make do and either go to another server or we find that one or two brave trader that still decides to tough it out there and avoid these guys. Either way, we have a good time doing it, and I'm sure those guys are having a good time doing what they're doing. Now, with all that being said, what I hope the takeaway from this can be is that people who do the industrialist game loop, whether you're a miner or a trader or a salvager, need to understand is that piracy really isn't going to go anywhere. And really either is PvP or quote-unquote griefing. What I think the industrialist game players should be doing for 2024 is taking away any info they can. Watch the pirate channels, watch the PvP channels, and see what their tactics are, see how they operate. Spend the time to work on better operational security. Don't do predictable trade routes. Don't go to predictable sell points. Now, we could get into the argument where everybody says, well, just hire escorts, but reality is escorts might not really do you that much good. You're honestly probably better off just having a single person scout ahead in an inconspicuous ship for you, let you know if the path is clear, versus hiring a couple people and fighters to protect you. Pay attention to global chat, see where people are calling out any PvPers or pirates at, and avoid those areas. If you have a cargo ship full of cargo, well, don't be lazy and set a direct path to where you're going. Give it an extra jump or two, dogleg it, and get there safely. But you also have to understand something too, that if you do get interdicted or pirated, the chance of the pirates really negotiating with you are kind of off the table simply because of the behaviors and actions of traders in the past. I can't tell you how many times we tried to pirate somebody before cargo was physicalized, and all they would do is sit there and quote-unquote negotiate with you simply while they just tried to wait for their self-destruct timer to go off. You can't really blame pirates for not trusting traders now when they want to negotiate in good faith. Reality is the cards are no longer in your favor for negotiations. I'll let you in another little pirate secret that we do over here. If we find you an atmosphere, we're going to try to get you out to space so we can do the boarding and cargo transfer in space. We also don't want to risk the cargo being lost to RNG if your ship is soft death or even full death in atmosphere and has to tumble to the ground. So a lot of those times that you just see the pirate just hovering around you, just giving little pot shots, it's for a reason, trust me. What you can use that time for, instead of going into global chat and talking shit, is using that time to maybe ask for a parlay and try to maybe negotiate. Now, if you try to be sneaky and try to self-destruct the ship, or try to, take a nosedive somewhere over here, well, that's when everybody's going to open up on you and try to get that ship soft death, and we'll recover what we can. You can try to cycle self-destruct, but trust me, we have somebody scanning you the entire time to make sure it's not active. So, as we go into 2024 and a new year for Star Citizen with hopefully a lot of big changes coming to the game over here, I just want to give you guys some food for thought. Is piracy fun? Well, not for everybody. I can tell you that for sure. But is it going anywhere, and is it griefing? Well, the answer is no. As the game changes, pirates change their tactics. We change our loadouts, we change what we do and how we operate. In order for the traders and industrialists to stay one step ahead, well, you guys have to too. Don't be scared to take an extra 10 minutes to secure that load gets to where it's going safely. Don't be lazy. If I was going to throw an arbitrary number out there of a completely made up statistical fact, I would say that 99% of the traders we encounter are lazy traders who just are doing direct runs. Before you land someplace to mine or to trade or something, well, scout the area, and if you see other ships or stuff that looks suspicious, well, move along, go somewhere else. Don't get greedy and want that top dollar. It's okay. Maybe trade a commodity that's maybe gonna make you a little bit less money, but it's gonna be substantially safer. And if you're somebody like a salvager, even pay attention to global chat. If you see pirates operating somewhere and you see that traders are being taken down, maybe offer to buy salvage rights from them for pennies on the dollar. Now, I know many people have a strong, we're not gonna negotiate or talk to pirates, but if you're really out there to make a couple bucks and you don't want to have to fight people in the server for salvage claims and stuff like that, well, that might be an option, a way to get you in there to relatively safely be able to salvage a ship and make some bucks. You never know, you might even make a friend or two. With all that said, as we wrap everything up over here, again, I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope 2024 is great for everybody. I hope no matter what side of the fence you're on here, we can all enjoy this great space game that we all love to deal with all these bugs and issues. I want everybody to remember that this is just a game. At any point in time, you can reach over to your computer, hit that power button, get up from your chair, and walk away, and none of this exists. It doesn't matter how good of a pirate you are, or industrialist, or PvP, or what. This is all a fake space game that we all play for fun. With all that said, I truly do wish you guys the best out there, and hope to see you in the verse. And remember, stay strapped.